far as I can tell, I am live. I am still currently getting set up. I go over to StreamYard. See, I got 2 people watching. So if anyone can hear what I'm saying, feel free to give me a thumbs up. I want to make sure the audio is good. And I'll get underway. We're going to see if we can't get this old Model 71 Simplicity up and running. I did share a link in the comments section on YouTube, so if anyone wants to join, they can. I think I'll stay behind the camera for a little while, and then I'll come out to say hi. Oh, only got 1 person now. Sure would be nice if I had a moderator. Huh. Well, my name is Willie, so for those of you that are watching, I'd like to say hi. Getting ready to see if this old tractor will start. I'm going to clean the battery terminals and start cleaning different stuff. See if I can't get it up and going. Anyone that wants to come up in the panel, feel free. I'm going to go over to the YouTube side and see what's going on. Gonna see if I can't get the Bluetooth headphones working or not. Volume, visibility, ringtone, vibration, notifications. Oh, that's not what I want. Okay. Got my headphones hooked up. Still no comments. Here, I'll see if this works. Okay, there's a link to the StreamYard. Not sure if anyone can see it or not. We're 7 minutes in. We're gonna have to check in periodically and see if anyone is in the basement or not. Turn my camera around. I think I'll leave it alone. So no questions, nothing like what I've been up to or anything. Well, for those of you wondering, this is a tractor I got for $150. The owner of this tractor just could not get it to start. That's all there is on a history of it. There, let me get down to your level. So little by little, we've been trying to see or get prepped and getting this thing up and running. What I did off camera so far is I drained the gas out. I gotta get all the water out of the fuel pump, and hopefully it's a runner. So let me just get started by cleaning up some battery terminals. They're pretty cookie. I'm a little tight on space. I would put you guys a little closer into where I was working on if I wasn't so tight in space. So you're gonna be stuck where you're at. Let me get these off, and then I'll take a look to see if anyone's in the basement, and I can bring them up if they want to come up. Let me get this thing moving at least. So I'll unhook the battery and see what we get out of it. I don't have any high hopes for this thing. There's some voltage in it, but it's just buzzing the starter. It's not cranking over the engine. And I don't want to get into the starter yet. I want to troubleshoot it one step at a time, just like anyone else would. So the first thing I started with was just draining out that gas, which it did have water in it because the cap does not have a cover over it. It's just open to the rain, and it has been sitting outside, which is most likely the reason it didn't want to start was because of water in the fuel. So let me take a look, see if there's any questions. Nope, no questions yet. No one in the basement that I can see. No views. Oh, bummer, I'm alone again. Well, I guess I'll be talking to myself then. Nothing new to me. Well, this battery doesn't want to give it up. Man, that thing is rusty. Okay, that's one terminal. Okay. Okay, we got the bolts out. Anything else going on? No, still no comments. Nobody watching. Boy, that's discouraging. I'm gonna grab a wire brush. I'll be right back. This is one of my favorite wire brushes right here. Stainless steel. Clean these terminals right on up. I'll be right back. I gotta hit this bolt in the wire wheel. Still no comments. And nobody watching yet. Can't answer questions if nobody's asking. Well, I put the battery wires back on now. Not that anyone's listening right now. In case anyone was wondering, you always take the negative off first and put it back on last. So I'm starting with a positive wire, going back on. And putting negative on last. Gonna need another 7/16. Okay, now we got a good tight battery. Let's see if we get out of it. Nope, just buzzing. I got a plan B for that. If anyone's ever watched my videos, you'll know what this thing is. This will be my makeshift jump box. We're gonna hook this up. And we should have power. Yeah, not much juice in this thing. Okay, now we'll flip this on. Now we'll see if she cranks. All right, we got crank. Cranks. That's a start. Do you have any questions yet? Nope, still no questions. Still nobody watching. Okay. Still on my own. I am going to hook up the battery charger up to this. Okay, we got our 10 amps hooked up now. Now we should get some good good speed out of that starter. Okay, she cranks up. Now we'll have to run a compression test on it, see what we got. And run a spark test on it, see what we got. Sounds like we have pretty good compression. And the starter doesn't sound too bad either. What size spark plug do we have in here? That's the one. Pop that plug out and see what we got. Looks like it's an oil burner. We got a lot of carbon on here. Not excessive. Might have been overfilled with oil. So we'll leave that out. Put our compression tester in. Getting a new spark plug wire. The boot's coming apart pretty bad. It'll be fine for what we're doing. Okay, I got my spark plug sitting on the ground. I have about a 7/16 air gap, and I also have my compression tester on here. So let's see what we get out of it. I'm grounding out. Okay, let's try that again. Beautiful spark. What do we have for compression? 60 psi, so it should fire. 60 psi compression, we got good spark. Should fire. So I don't have to worry about getting into any points. We'll stick some oil down that cylinder. Not much, just a little bit. It's light oil. And we'll stick that plug back in. Looks like the fuel pump is pumping too. So let's take a look at what we have down the gullet of this thing. Oh my goodness. I don't think they've ever changed that air filter. Not even once. Look at that thing. It's just black. Everywhere it's black. Oh, wow. That's not very pretty. Well, at least there's an air filter on it. Looks nice and clean in there. I don't see any corrosion, no water. I don't see any carbon on the valve even. The whole intake assembly is nice and clean. So I imagine we have really good valve sealing because I can see all the way to that valve guide and I can see a perfectly clean valve guide in there. Valve stems clean, everything. So I suspect this thing is in good order. If that valve was leaking bad, you'd see some combustion gases going back into the intake, and I don't see that at all. So it's looking like a pretty healthy motor. So let's get this all cleaned up out of here. We'll get ourselves some fuel. Any questions yet as to what's going on? Oh, still no comments. Still no views. We're 20 minutes in. Still live. So let me go grab some fuel. Oh, wait, I gotta turn you guys a little bit. We'll see if this thing cranks up. Okay, we got some carb cleaner here. I'll shoot that down the intake a little bit. And we'll see what she does. Nope, didn't go that time. I'll give her a little choke. Uh-oh. You're not supposed to shoot the straw into the intake. That's not good. Never had that happen before. Oh boy, I'll have to grab some Neil nose. Wow, it's a new one on me. Yeah, don't do that. Okay. Should be spinning over a little better than that. Well, let's take that plug out and see if we're getting fuel in there. Should be doing something, but it ain't. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's crank that oil out in case that's causing any problems. Okay, shot some fuel down the intake. We'll see what that does. Probably make it a little happier. What do you know? Looks like I'm gonna have to go for a plan B. I'm gonna have to bypass this battery and go straight for the starter. So I'm not getting enough amps to that starter for some reason. So we'll leave this on here. Keep that battery up. Swap out those other two wires. Not sure we're going to go for a ground yet. Anyone ask any questions yet? Nope. Nada. We're going to see if I can't pump that 500 amps straight into that starter or not. Boy, this is not looking so professional now. So I'm going to unhook the starter wire on the tractor, swap it with the starter wire on my jumper box / engine control box. We'll see what we get out of it. Now, this thing should crank over like nobody's business now. Unless there's something wrong with the starter. Grab a key. Hook up my grounds. Hook it right here. Okay, we got ignition. Now let's crank. Okay, I think we have a bad spark plug. Let me grab a replacement spark plug, and we'll see what she does, because this does have quite a bit of carbon on it. And this could be the original spark plug from the 80s. It was jumping a gap while it was out the cylinder. Still no comments yet. Still nobody viewing. It's kind of unfortunate. See what we can get. Got myself a brand new spark plug. Let's see what it does this time. I'm pretty confident it's going to do something this time. Okay, hold on to your butts. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Wrong key. Out of gas now, the fuel line's not hooked up. That's not a bad start. So it actually had gas in it. It wasn't water in the carburetor. Let's loosen up that bolt on the bottom of that carb and drain whatever junk is in there. And get some gas up to her. This thing hasn't been cleaned in who knows how long. Probably never. Probably hasn't even been washed. So she's got life, but she's not running yet. Not by my definition. So let's get the fuel line hooked back up. And put some gas in it and see what she does. I'm hoping it pumps fuel. There's no guarantee on that. It is old. So we get some, what does Terra Isle say? Dinosaur juice? Yeah, that's what it is. We'll get some dinosaur juice for in there. That'll be enough. I had that 1/2 inch. Where did I put it now? Do you see where I put that 1/2 inch? Ah, crud. Have my hand. Well, now I look like a moron. I don't know where I put my wrench. Da da da. Yeah, I'll grab another one. That bugs me. How the heck would I have replaced or misplaced a 1/2 inch? Oh, no, I never grabbed it. I grabbed a 9/16. Duh. That's the wrench I had right here, but I meant to grab a 1/2 inch and it was still in my box. Nope. Should have gone with my first cut. Okay, let's loosen up that bowl nut, drain whatever junk is in there, and get some fresh gas up in there. Oh, there's some real not so good looking stuff coming out of there. I guess we're going to have to clean that out. That fuel that came out was brown and sandy. I'm going to try and clean off all the dirt before I take that bowl off. Try to anyway. Not very nice looking. I had hoped it would be cleaner. Oh boy, come on, bowl. There we go. Let go of that gasket. Don't tear on me. Okay, we'll dump all that junk out of there. I think we should be good then. I'll just stick it right back on. Just had some like sandy goo in it. Doesn't smell terrible. Here's a picture of the bowl in case you're wondering. So let's get that back on there. Actually, I'll get the blowgun and blow that out quick. Just a little bit of air. See if anyone's commented or not, if anyone has any questions. Nope, no questions and still no views. Going on 37 minutes. Talking to myself. Hey, we got some air now. I'm gonna pop that low speed screw jet out quick. Blow out any kind of junk that might be in that jet. I don't think this is a jet. Nope, that's just a plug. So that's good. Don't need to worry about that. Let's stick her back together and see what we got. That'd be nice if it's that simple. It comes out as that. See, that's all the way down. It's a half, 1.5 out in the low speed. Turn the high speed out a quarter of a turn. And stick our bowl back on. Everything else looks pretty good. This isn't the right way, but I don't care. I just want to make it run. It moves a lot easier when it runs. I have some octopus fingers to get up underneath that carburetor. And you're seeing this live. Good, bad, and indifferent. Okay, I got the fuel line unhooked, so hopefully when I crank this over, I'll get some fuel pumping. Oh yeah, we got fuel. Okay, so the fuel pump's working. Now it's primed and leaking. Oh, let's get that capped off there. That back on. Where are those other pliers at? There they are. I did check the oil on this. The oil is good. My ignition's on. So I'm going to give it a little bit of prime with some fuel. Choke is on. Let's see what she does. Nope, nothing yet. Turn the low speed out another quarter of a turn. Hey, look at still not that. Oh, still not there. Try it again. You're gonna see how many turns are out in the high speed. See, we got a half, 1.5, 2.5. Turn this out to 2 turns. Half, 1.5, 2. Okay. got now? Yeah, this thing's fighting itself for some reason. Okay, well, she runs. I think we can end it on a high note there. I think we have an issue with some timing. I'm gonna take a look to see what the points are doing. I'm curious. See if anyone has any questions or not. Hey, hey, Harold Fisher. And bye, Harold Fisher. Bummer, I missed him. Didn't know he was there. Yes, it runs. Let me grab a screwdriver and we'll take a look what those points are doing. Doesn't seem to be running very happy. Certainly isn't the worst running engine I've seen. Doesn't seem to smoke too bad either, which is very different from any Kohler I've ever had. It did smoke when I first started because I had put oil in the cylinder. Take a look at what we've got in here. Got my ignition off now, so I don't get zapped. I'm hoping I can crank this over. Okay, it looks like our points gap is way too tight. Boy, it would be nice if I could reach down in there. I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna pop that spark plug out. I can't crank it over too well. Put that in there. Could have paid. All I have to do is just adjust the gap and I'll be good. What do you know? Those points aren't moving. That'll probably cause our problems. Oh yeah, that's what our problem was. Points were not moving at all. Okay. That's our fully open point. Let me grab a feeler gauge. We'll adjust that up. So the ignition was probably way early because of that points gap being closed up so tight. I'm surprised it ran. Let's open up that gap a bit. Okay, that feels good. Crank that back down, nice and tight. Okay. Stick that cover back on, so I'll foresee any issues in there. I think we should be done with this thing. Get a gas cap on it, which I believe I have a gas cap out in my shed somewhere. I know I have another gas tank, and I believe it's got a brand new gas cap on it. So I'll grab that and stick her on there and call it good. Boy, you can't see in there at all. Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting that screw to start. There it goes. Yeah, there's no gap at all in those points, so I opened them up. Should be good now. The correct way to time them would be to look for the hole for the ignition timing, which I believe is on the other side, and use the multimeter, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'll do that another day. I just want to make it run so it'll move easier. That's all I'm worried about. Making it run so I don't have to tote around. Oh, spark plug. So now it should run as sweet as a nut. That's why I have the ignition on. That does it. She's a smoker. And she's a runner. Oh, check out your basement. Let's take a look. Hey, Harold.
What's going on?
Oh, I got myself a Kohler engine running.
I see that.
Yep. Let me get the camera turned around so you can see me. Here we go. So what have you been up to?
Nothing. I worked all day today.
Imagine, what is it, Nissan, right? The Nissan dealer?
Not either at the plant, yeah.
Yep.
Home from work, my neighbor had cut his tree down in my backyard.
Was that by design or was that an accident?
No, that was by stupidity.
Yeah. We've all been there at some point or another.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to, here we go. There's the back button I'm looking for.
What about you? What have you been doing today?
Well, I got this tractor up and running. Trying to figure
Okay.
out how to get out of things. Here we go. And we'll put you guys over here. There we go. That's a little bit better. Anyway, I was hoping I'd hear you guys through some Bluetooth earphones, but that's not working. So close. Anyway, this tractor that you saw me working on, I'm not sure how long you're waiting in the basement or not. For $150.
Okay.
So I plan on taking this 14 horsepower and putting it in place of my 12. Of course, that was the plan until I saw how much it was smoking. So I think I'm gonna have to rebuild this engine and then put it in my tractor. Yeah, I want to get this tractor up and running as soon as I can to put up for sale.
You said something about you had maybe a timing issue. It's not valves, is it?
No, the points gap was almost completely closed. I'm surprised it ran.
Okay.
So I opened up the points gap and it was happy then.
Well,
It was
broken. That's why I thought, well, maybe something's wrong.
yeah, it was fighting itself. It was fighting itself. It didn't really want to rev up, and on deceleration, it was backfiring out the carb. So check the points, and they were almost completely closed. I couldn't even see them move. I actually had to open up the gap just to see when the points would move.
Oh, man.
Yep, they were tight.
Christopher C. and Brandon, what's going on?
Oh, we got some other people in the...
Yeah, they're in the chat.
Yeah, I didn't mean to hide that. Okay. Hey, we got BS Small Engine. It's nice to see you guys. Hi. I'm going to stay over in the chat. So, yeah, I'm kind of done for the day. I was getting ready to pack up. I was watching comments for the last 45 minutes, and I saw you had commented earlier. And
Yeah.
didn't see it. Matter of fact, let me put the link back in the description below.
All
Or, I'm
right.
sorry, in the comment section. In case that's not showing up. In case anyone else wants to come up. Doing this with a cell phone, so you got to bear with me if you see me poking around the camera with my finger.
There you go.
So yeah, once I got the tractor up and running, so that's an achievement today. I can start pulling that engine off or start troubleshooting other issues. I hear a whining coming from the beveled gearbox, so I'm hoping it's just low on oil, but it might have a bad bearing, and that would be the worst case scenario. I can fix that if I have to. It's not usually too difficult to get into those.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked on a Simplicity before, or ever run one? No.
Nope.
If it wasn't such a ordeal to get all the stuff off the tractor and open it up, I would show you. But it's got a shaft that drives off the engine to a midpoint gearbox, which is known as the beveled gearbox. Splits the power into two sides. One side being your drive clutch, and the other side being your PTO side.
Okay.
And there is 4 bearings in there. 2 needle bearings and 2 roller bearings, and 2 gears, helical cut beveled gears inside of it.
Okay. Hello, Ed.
Oh my goodness, Polar Bear Ed and Lucky 7 are here. I'm flattered. So Lucky 7, I don't see anyone in the basement. I don't care if they wanted to come up or not. I'm kind of flattered that they would stop by. So hello, Polar Bear. Hi, Breezy Bike Shop. I'm quite surprised people are actually joining. This is a new one for me.
Well,
so I got 8 people watching. That's a record.
Lucky had a live stream giveaway going on while you were doing yours, so that's probably where everybody was at.
Ah, okay. I haven't been subscribed to him. I'm watching some of the other channels that gets a little bit overwhelming when you get people posting videos every day. I'm not complaining. It's just hard to keep up. So sometimes I like to keep things a little simpler. But yeah. I should start watching him more often. Anyway, as for what I have for this tractor, what I plan on selling it with is, we have someone in the chat. Looks like Tampa Boy Customs. Are you going to wave, Tampa? Oh, we got 2 fingers. Okay. I'll bring you up then. Let's see. There we go. Should come up. Add screen. Yeah.
There
we go.
There he is.
What's up?
Hey,
fella?
Tampa.
What's going on, guys?
Well, I thought I'd do a test stream and see how it was going. Not hugely impressed with the audio. I was hoping I could use some earbuds to get some audio, but it's not working with YouTube. I'll have to figure that out sometime or another. I might grab my other speaker so I can hear you guys a little bit better, because I'm only going through a cell phone speaker right now.
Oh, okay.
I got a question. Oh, okay. Thank you, Ed and Lucky, for the shout out.
Ed's in the basement.
Oh, I see it now. Okay. Sorry, Ed. Hey, Ed.
Hey. Yeah, we
see the chat and the basement at the same time. I think I found a good spot.
Yeah, big shout out, Ed. Ed sent us all over here.
Thank you.
Thanks to Polar Bear,
Ed. So trying to get it set up in a spot where I can see everything that's going on. I think I can see pretty good. Anyway, another thing I have going for me on this tractor is I bought a whole bunch of attachments for like $300. I believe I was talking to it on another stream. I commented about it, but I bought 2 snowblowers. One's a rusty part snowblower and one's in good shape, and 2 parts decks, and a plow that's going to be going with this tractor. So not sure I'm going to sell for it. Depends on what I have into it, but haven't gotten into troubleshooting yet. Just got it up and running, which for a tractor's probably been sitting for probably a year now. Not too bad. Didn't fight me too much. Had to clean some more out of the bowl. Didn't have to take the carburetor off, which is nice. I think that's me. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Are you buzzing?
I'm trying to get rid of that.
Hey, we might just go away real quick.
Avon calling.
Oh,
incoming call.
Sorry about the noise.
No, don't worry about
Did
that.
it freeze up, or am I freezing up? Might be me.
You're freezing. Everybody else is moving. You're freezing.
Well, it seems like my phone's completely quiet
Yeah, my
until I
phone's
come on a live stream. Then it blows up.
Good coffee.
Yeah,
But
buddy.
hey, Ed, you're not going to believe this. Tomorrow, production was closed. It was shut down, right? But guess who's got to work? Because they canceled everything except standard parts. Uh-oh, we're fixing to drop, guys.
Nope, we'll stay live
No,
as
we'll
long as
stay.
he. Yeah,
Okay.
until
Yeah,
until
yeah.
he clicks that end button. Until he clicks the end button, we'll stay live.
Okay. But yeah, everything except standard parts got canceled. So there will be 4 of us that'll show up tomorrow and have to work 6 to 2:30. And we'll have 1 or 2 parts to run out because the lines won't be run.
Yep, he keeps bouncing in and out.
Oh yeah.
I remember when I was. It reminds me of when I learned StreamYard. It's good stuff.
How do you get on StreamYard? How do you open that up? Because when I click on the YouTube live, it goes to a YouTube live instead of StreamYard.
Yeah, you got to set it up through StreamYard. You got to start off in StreamYard, not YouTube.
Okay.
What's up, Grandpa?
You got you
What'd
gotta
you
go to StreamYard.com and set up an account
Okay.
and then start your live.
Yeah, I got the tractor up and running, so I'm doing pretty good. Yep.
Them shoes, you put them.
Yeah, it's a little chilly down here, Breezy. A little bit.
Tampa, when I got home today, the thermometer in my truck said 60 degrees. I was in a
Nice.
t-shirt.
Yep.
Not me.
Okay, good night, Grandpa. So can you guys hear me now or no?
Yeah.
No,
you're
nothing,
moving.
Grandpa. I'm good. Okay. Yeah, I got a phone call and everything went all haywire.
Uh-huh.
Well, it fixed your freezing up. So
Yep. I had to exit out and rejoin my own stream. Go figure.
Well, we were just discussing that. Your stream will keep running until you hit that end live stream.
Yep.
So
Hi, Breeze Bike Shop.
when I did my first live stream, it ran for over 8 hours because one of my buddies called me and said, "Dude, it says you're live, but there's nobody there." I'm like, "What do you mean? I ended that a long time ago." And I went back in. I never clicked the end. I just closed it out and went about my business.
Yep. Well,
I've done
I
it.
got the phone call and I wanted to try and cancel the phone call. It didn't even come up on my toolbar until after the phone call was over. And at that point, when it finally displayed on my phone, accept or decline call, then everything just went out of whack. I couldn't hear you guys. The camera froze up. I had to leave and come back in. And then now I'm all good. So not a big deal.
yeah.
Well, see, I'm on my house laptop right now, which is it's only a couple years old, but the one I stream when I'm out in the shop is I don't know how old the thing is, but it's still running Windows 7, and as long as I have it plugged into a Cat 5 cable, I have no issues.
Good deal.
Yep. Well, I'm not doing too bad for a cell phone, honestly.
Right. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking with Nate and that, and I told him, I said, just go to the pawn shop and find yourself an old laptop that's a few years old, pay $100 or so for it, and dedicate it just to doing live streams. And as long as it's plugged into a cat cable, I don't have any issues. When I'm on Wi-Fi, it'll freeze up, lock up, all kinds of stuff. But once I plugged it into that cat cable, I can run. I had 10 people on the panel the one night there when I was running it. So
Tell
Yeah.
them.
Well, being I live on a mountain.
Nice to get a hold of your cable.
yeah,
I would love to get good internet, but being that we're on a mountain, there's not a lot of people uphill from here.
Yeah.
So the cable companies won't put in any kind of infrastructure on a budget or a discount because it would only be a pole for our house. So in order to get Adams cable put in, they have to put a pole in, which would cost like $1,700 or something like that. And DSL, unfortunately, with all the traffic on DSL, isn't very good around here. We've called and complained about DSL, and it went like half the speed. In the 10 years we had it, the speed dropped it to like 50%. It was good when we first had DSL hooked up, and it just got worse and worse with every year with, I'm guessing, traffic. So we just had it taken off. I can actually run fast internet on my cell phone with the mobile hotspot versus going anywhere else.
Well, the one house I rented, the last place there was a school, it was probably 600 yards away from my house or so. That was the last place that had cable and internet. And to get it ran to my house, they wanted $2,800 plus the connection fees and stuff.
Do what?
They wanted $2,800.
Do you have any fuel pumps in your shed? Electric fuel pumps?
What, an inline fuel pump?
Yeah.
I have guts for one.
You don't have a working one?
No.
I could hit their
Like,
Wi-Fi from my house.
I have a small, like a piston style one, but I have no idea where I put it.
That's all I need for the dozer, because the dozer originally is gravity fed.
Okay.
I need to put a pump in because the fuel's a little too thick to pump.
I had to go digging through my shed. I have a little tiny lawnmower piston style electric fuel pump that I got from Amazon. I'm not sure where it's at. Somewhere out there.
Let me look through the Jeep parts.
No, you won't find an electric one in the Jeep parts.
I got the spare one we had for the Volks Jeep. I put on my tractor.
Oh, now you're stealing Dad's Jeep parts to fix your tractors. Nice.
Priorities. Gotta have the
Priorities.
tractor.
That's right.
Gotta have the tractor, man. The Jeep can wait.
Yeah, he's got some. He's got a
That's
case
good.
dozer and a case loader from the '60s that he still runs. Both of them diesel.
Oh,
Nice.
cool. I got a John Deere. It's a 72 John Deere backhoe.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost him anything to run them either. He runs them on black diesel.
Motor oil.
Yeah, you should talk to him. You should look up Anthony27 on TikTok. He's got a few videos up on that.
It's Anthony Cook 27.
Oh, Anthony Cook 27. My bad. That's Cook with an E, by the way.
Yeah, I make diesel fuel out of motor oil.
Yep. He runs it in his truck too. The faces he looks, the looks on people's faces when he's out on the highway with that truck is pretty funny.
Oh, the air conditioner in the back window.
Especially with the air conditioner in the back window. Yep.
See, I'm getting ready to build a used oil burner for here,
Yep.
for my garage.
Yep.
I've got just about all the parts I need. It's going to be a gravity. It's not going to be one of the injection style.
Yep.
But,
I've heard you talk about that before, I believe with Mark.
Yeah.
You're talking about what you're asking him for, I think, tractor trailer rims because they would have been perfect, but I don't think he had extras or something like that, or a drum. I can't remember
Right.
now.
Well, I actually found an old water tank pre-glass lined that I'm going to be able to use. So I just got to get it.
We have one of those here, but we use it as an air tank for sandblasting.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we only know how old the thing is. It was probably 20 years old before we got it, and that was probably 10 years ago.
Cool.
Right. And that's the problem at work. We get, a dozen water tanks or hot water tanks a year, but they're all glass lined, and you can't use those because you can't cut them.
Right.
Not even
Yeah.
a plasma?
No, I tried. It blows
Well,
back out at you. I mean, you can cut it, but it blows right
Oh,
back out.
okay.
It won't cut the glass.
Yeah, and even then, you don't want that glass blown back at you anyway. Better not to chance it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then because
I wouldn't
That
have
would-
guessed that blown back with a plasma because those things have some pretty good pressure behind them.
yeah. Yep. And my plasma cutter, it works a thermodynamics. It's rated up to an inch cut, and I had it cranked up to its max setting. And the plumber even said, "You ain't gonna cut that thing." I'm like, "I'm gonna cut it." Well, yeah, I cut it. It didn't look pretty. And
I
then
heard.
once I got the cut off and looked at the inside, there's no way I can use this.
Yep.
You can't peel the glass off the steel for some reason.
Yep.
I don't know how they attach it. I tried beating it with a hammer and everything else, and I
Well,
just
if you think
didn't-
about it, the melting point for glass is higher than the melting point of steel.
Well, you would think beating it would crack it, fracture it, and make it fall off. No,
Nope.
it just dented the tank.
Yep. So yeah, well, we don't want to get rid of our nice air tank because if we're running even our die grinder, if we're running a die grinder, it's really nice to have that bigger tank.
Yeah. Well,
Even then, you can't run the die grinder nonstop anyway because it ices up. Even in like 60-degree weather, it can actually ice up if you use it nonstop. So it's pretty good size for what we do around here. I'd show you the Jeep beside me, but that my dad's been working on. He's been doing a lot of work on. But I want to move the camera around and have it stop again. I'll have to take a video of that someday. But yeah, we do a lot of rust repair here. I mean, just in the vehicles I work on alone, we do all kinds of rust repair. We're usually beating around the cheap, rusty stuff, or as what my brother would say, or my brother's boss, our boss, tired iron is everywhere around here.
yeah, one of the plumbers at work.
Ironically, what was that, Ed?
I said one of the plumbers at work does side work, and he got a hold of me one time or here recently, and he was working in an old church. And he said, "You still looking for a tank?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "I got you one." And it's like a 50-gallon hot water tank. And it's about 40 years old. So he said, "It's perfect."
You should see the size of the air tank. I know that this junk guy has. I don't know how big the air tank is. It looks like it's a 45 or a 50-gallon air tank.
Mhm.
It's gigantic. And he was only asking like $200 for it. But the problem is it was inside of a demo manufacturer home, like a little mini version of a manufactured home. That's like 4 feet off the ground, up against the wall. So to haul that 300-pound tank through a little man-sized slot between two buildings, no, wasn't going to get into that. But yeah,
I had
tank.
the perfect tank last summer. We were remodeling one of our science buildings, and it was a big air tank from an air compressor, but it was in such good shape I could not bring myself to cutting it up to make this thing. And one of the other maintenance guys took it home because he has the big compressor. He just don't have a big tank. So he took it home and, mounted it all up. And I'm like, yeah, man, that tank was in way too nice a shape, for me to start plasma cutting holes in it and putting a chimney in it and burning everything else. And so.
Yep.
Willie, can you look in your shed tonight so I don't have to go out and buy one?
Are you off tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that tonight. I got flashlights.
Well, I got all that dirt I want to spread up to tomorrow because I have a truck meet Sunday up in the shell pit.
Oh, so people get to see your lovely truck.
Well, there's probably at least 60 people coming tomorrow up in
Yeah.
the shell pit doing a truck meet.
This guy's kind of famous on TikTok. He goes all over the place, and people recognize his truck because it sticks out like a sore thumb. Well, actually, I'd say it sticks out like a broken thumb, honestly. Let alone a sore thumb. It's how many colors do we have on that thing? It's white, it's yellow,
Blue.
blue,
A little blue. Yeah, a lot of yellow.
gray. There's some gray on it too. Gray, white, yellow, and blue. 4 different colors on the thing.
At least.
I love the fact the name's still stuck.
It's not if they remember you, it's how they remember you. So.
Yep.
Right.
Well, actually, his truck is kind of neat because he bought it. Well, actually, it's a long story. I don't know if you want to be around for it.
Hey, I ain't got nothing better
You
to
don't have to
do.
be anywhere? Okay. It was a pretty funny story. I saw a Facebook ad for parts
Hey,
engines.
Willie, hey, let me just
What?
get to the quick part. I dropped a 12-valve Cummins in a Dodge half-ton.
Yeah.
And,
Two-wheel drive.
Right.
and I make,
like this.
Yeah, right.
yeah. Hey, you don't have to turn the camera. And then,
Why not?
I make my homemade diesel fuel from a mixture of used motor oil and stale gas I get from junkyards for about 10
Wow.
cents a gallon. So between getting 22 miles per gallon. I drove all the way to Florida and back with that truck for only $20 out of pocket. Not even.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, it is.
So no air conditioning. So I stuck an air conditioner in the back window, running off a power inverter. Like little
Which is
odds,
good going down the highway.
yeah, little odds and ends. Pretty soon I want to put together a wood gasifier and see if I can run the truck on wood, and also try to make diesel fuel out of car tires and plastics.
You should talk about your dump truck.
Dude,
Which one?
being
What do you have up
being
there?
all serious, you need to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I do have a YouTube channel. I just don't post much on it.
Dude,
You
you would
probably
get 1,000
put it
subscriptions in
sometime.
a day posting that stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but look what happened to the Diesel Brother guys, though.
Yeah, I even have some self-sustaining energy ideas, which I almost had one of them working, but I don't have the money to keep putting into it. To put it simple, electric motor spinning a generator or generators.
With magnets.
And basically, the generators produces enough electricity to power its own electric motor and have extra power to use. I almost had one sustaining itself. I was going to remake it with DC electric motors and DC alternators and try to redo it, but I don't have that kind of money to sink into a project that might not work. Even though I'm about 95% sure it will work, but I don't have $5,000. Like just the electric DC electric motor, the 10 horse I need is $1,000, and then to buy the
Yeah.
to buy the 4 alternators I need are $1,000 a piece, and then all the batteries. So
Go do a fund me.
Yeah,
If you want to see me do
GoFundMe,
burnouts, pay for tires.
yeah, that's the other thing. Because I have that 12-valve Cummins in that half-ton truck, it will do donuts and burn tires off like nothing. So
With the posi.
yeah, I even welded it up a solid posi rear, and I still cannot do a boost takeoff without spinning up the rear tires.
Well, you guys brought up the Diesel Brothers. Where the Diesel Brothers got in trouble was they were modifying new vehicles. They
Yeah.
were not modifying old vehicles to run on alternate fuels. They were modifying new vehicles to bypass the Clean Air Act.
That I knew about. Willie,
Yeah.
I don't think did, but
Well, I had an idea on it, but the thing is if you bring something like that to light, someone's gonna complain and probably make it a problem. I don't know. They'll probably want it to be off-road only, and then he's taking it on the road.
yeah, well, a lot of people give me a hard time about making my own diesel
He's on top
fuel.
of all that stuff when it comes to how they even pursue an issue like that legally.
What they could go after me on my homemade diesel fuel out of motor oil is road taxes, but
Yeah.
it gets thrown out because they cannot prove how many gallons I have used or are using.
Right.
So if it does go to court, like vegetable oil, it gets thrown out. Second thing they could go after me is a permit for alternative fuels. But when I did research on it for here in PA, they have permits for like natural gas, propane, vegetable oil and stuff, but nothing on motor oil. So they can't even go after me on that because I tried. You have to get a specific permit for that fuel you're using, and there's no one does motor oil like I do. So
Yeah, if anyone asks, you just say it's an old truck, it burns oil.
yeah, that's what I do. If like the one guy was asking me, man, your truck is smoking really bad. Yep, it burns a lot of oil. So
But isn't that based on the quantity that you produce, having to have it permitted?
no, if I would have to have permits for how much fuel I could store on my property. See, to do it legally would be getting permits, having certified gas pumps, so I can measure how many gallons I am using, so I can pay the government their $1 per gallon fuel taxes for on-road use, for road taxes.
But the problem is there's no one specifically set up to do that with used oil.
No, only it's everything I looked up is for like vegetable oil.
Yeah.
The motor oil is completely in a gray zone, area, which they can't give me a hard time about it. So I did hours. I've done days of research looking it up. The law specifically states a a off-road diesel, a diesel that you buy that's taxed for off-road use only, is the only thing illegal to use on an on-road vehicle. And there's no law stating that it's illegal to run homemade diesel fuel in your personal truck on the road. So,
Right.
like, if it did go to court, it gets thrown out. So, like, I know guys that are running vegetable oil. They can try to take you to court for it. What I think one guy I heard about, he got fined for the fuel he had in the tank, but that's it, because that's the only thing they can prove. You know, the 10 or 20 or 30 gallons you have in your tank, but not like I've been running it for like 4 years now. You know, they can't go and try to prove all the fuel I've used over the years and crap like that. And
Right.
it's illegal to use in commercial vehicles, and it's kind of illegal for personal vehicles, but it's one of those things that they could try to go after you for it, but as soon as it goes into court, if you show up to court and fight it yourself, the judge will look at it and kind of just throw it out.
Then there's the fact that you mix it. You could say specifically mix it for your tractors and not your truck too.
Well, it's perfectly legal to heat your house with it and run in your farm tractors. Completely legit. That you could do all day long. Nobody's going to bother you at all. It's only on a on-road vehicle they'll give you a hard time for is for the road taxes.
Right.
How bad does
So-
it smoke? Does it smoke like you're rolling coal like all the time?
No,
No, imagine the worst gasoline car you'd ever see smoking out the tailpipe. It's
It's-
about that bad.
It
I've
depends.
seen-
I've been trying to tune the injection pump.
Yeah.
See, there's more energy per ounce of motor oil than diesel fuel, so I need less of it. So
Right.
I can only cut the fuel mixture back on the injection pump by so much. They're
Right.
only designed to tune it up or down so far.
Right.
I already have it tuned down as far as it physically will go, and I put a softer governor spring in. So the only option I have left now is to put a slightly bigger turbo on the truck. So if I put a slightly bigger turbo on, and if I can advance the timing, the injection pump a little bit more, it should not smoke whatsoever. Like my bulldozer doesn't smoke that much at all. And my tractor,
The oil burns
does-
hotter and slower.
yeah, you have to advance the injection pump because it takes longer to burn, to ignite and burn. So you have to advance it. So like my tractor, my Case tractor, I never touched it. I started dumping it right in the tank, and it doesn't even smoke at all. It only started smoking when the head gasket went bad. So that was just a factory tune right there, and it was perfect. It didn't smoke at all. And like furnaces, usually I have them drop one full nozzle size down and increase the air about 2 notches. Done. You know, so I did a whole bunch of videos on TikTok. I post some videos up on YouTube, but not many. I just posted like a series of videos I did. So you just look up Anthony Cook, and it should come up with the page. And I never really went through the time to label all the videos and crap. I just kind of quickly posted them just to see if they will post. But you can look it up. But it's just amazing how much money I can save and how you can run diesel engines on almost anything. So, like I did a video on
12 different things.
yeah, like I had like 20 different things I started
No,
dumping in the tank.
12 different fuels you dump down the tank.
Yeah, so like diesel fuel, kerosene,
Brake
motor
fluid,
oil,
power
brake
steering
fluid,
fluid,
hydraulic oil, nail
power
polish
steering
remover, lacquer thinner. I just started dumping all kinds of stuff, even like some like moonshine and into the tank of Stinky Pete, because it was just to prove that as long as you have the right viscosity, you can run anything: vegetable oil, animal fat, grease. Like if you take tar and add some gasoline to it and mix it, you can make diesel fuel. Like you can run diesels on unbelievable things that you never, any oil-based product like grease, Vaseline, if you give me time, I'll think of some more
Yeah, I get that
oil-based
idea.
products that I can run that truck on.
Now, can you use synthetic blend oils?
Yep, it's all, I get it all for free. It's all mixed.
Well, we do want to kind of stay away from any kind of stop leak stuff.
Yeah, I got a batch. I think I had some stop leak, which gave me some issues with a friend of mine's furnace, but that was it. But I get the motor oil for free from like local garages, all the extra they have during the summer that they don't need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And even
I mean,
then, whatever small amounts of synthetic oil there might be, it's cut down with by so much conventional. I doubt you'd ever even notice it.
Right.
Well, see, we use full synthetic at work, and I was having trouble getting rid of my used oil to some of the guys that use it for their used oil burners. And I got one guy that he begs me to get it now because apparently he knows how to mix the stuff, and it burns better when he mixes it than it does on the full conventional.
Well, what it is it's all about the volatility of the oil, flashpoint. So synthetic oil has a lower volatility, a lower flashpoint, so you need a lot more heat to get it to burn.
Unless you add some kerosene or gasoline to it.
Yeah, or you add kerosene and gasoline to it
That
to
is
thin it out.
awesome,
And then
man.
if you put a more volatile fuel and easier to light fuel in, with a lower flash point, it'll bring that overall flash point temperature down so it's easier to light.
Yeah, so like right now to make a full 275-gallon tote of my black diesel, for my summer blend for my truck, it's $25 out of pocket to make 275 gallons. My winter blend is $30 to make a 275-gallon batch. And for home heating oil is $55 for a 275-gallon batch. So technically, I can run my military diesel generator on my black diesel all year round and only costs about $30 a month for electricity.
Wow.
And then I can heat the house with it for only $50 a month.
Well, yeah, but you got to figure in oil changes though.
Yeah, like I was
You have to change your oil at least every once a month,
Yeah.
if not every 2 weeks.
I had figured out. The only thing that makes it really not worth it is the cost to replace the generator after, I think I have figured for 5 years. Like 30,000 hours average lifespan of them. The 4-cylinder Onan diesel generators. So I figured about 30,000 hours would probably be a new unit, which would be $5,000. So I kind of averaged the $5,000 plus about $300 of fuel plus some parts from here and there. But it only made it where it was just easier just to be on the grid normally. But it was just fascinating to crunch numbers. Just like if I had the Toyota Hilux, which was a 4-cylinder diesel, which gets about 45 miles per gallon. If I started running that on my black diesel, I could tune it, get about 50 to 55 miles per gallon. So I could put a tote in the back of the truck. I could drive to California and back for $5, like $5 or $10. Like I can already drive my 12-valve Cummins all the way to California and back for under $60. I could put 2 totes in the back of my truck, which is 550 gallons for $60 out of pocket. And that's over 10,000 miles of driving without stopping and buying fuel.
That's crazy numbers. That's crazy.
Now, can you,
I drive every day.
when you're running your generator, can you sell electricity back to the utility company like the wind guys do and stuff?
I could if I really want to, but I never got into it. I just like the how much they pay you per kilowatt is really not worth it. It's only like it. The only way it works out is like at night when we're not using a lot of electricity, it's still running.
You could charge a battery bank.
No, the thing is the generator already powers everything in the house during the day. So at night there's only a couple things running. So about 75% of the power that's being generated with it running could be sold back to the power company.
Or you could just set it up so you're running it during the day, and whatever extra power you're not using in the house is just going to a battery bank, and then we shut the generator off for night. But you can run off the battery bank off at night and then fire it back up the next day.
I could do stuff like that if I really want to. I just never got that far into it. I'm kind of fine.
That would make it a job at that point.
I'm kind of fine with just running off the regular grid and saving my generator if the power goes out. Like I only have regular diesel fuel in my generator right now. I can hook it up to run on black diesel and I can tune it. I just never went that far into it.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that's cool shit, man.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool shit.
Everybody I meet is like, holy crap, you're a redneck genius. You know, it's just once you learn the basic science and how things work, you can think of some really cool things to throw together.
Run a diesel on used engine oil is like running a gasoline on methanol. It's kind of that kind of changes. Only diesel, everything's mechanical, so you gotta like mechanically adjust everything. You can't just go on a distributor and call it good.
Yeah. So little odds and ends. Like I do know, like I have a little bit extra carbon buildup in the exhaust and maybe in the cylinders, but it's nothing that will hurt the motor. You know.
If anything, upper cylinder lubrication's improved.
Yeah, actually, it has. I've running that black diesel. I have gained a lot more horsepower and I've gained a lot more miles per gallon. And if I could finish tuning it, like I already went from 18 miles per gallon to 22, 23 on the highway, just from diesel to black diesel, and it's still running too rich. So if I could finish tuning it, you know, and a few little tweaks here and there, I know I could get 25 miles per gallon, you know, with that 12-valve Cummins. So I just like I cannot advance the injection pump anymore because it's bottomed out against the block. So I would have to take the timing gear off, advance it one tooth, and then put it back together so I can advance it more. You know, right now I have it set so I can run my black diesel, or in case I have to, I can run regular diesel and it still. It just won't idle right now if I start running regular diesel fuel.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool shit, man.
That is.
Okay.
It's cool, man. I got to run, guys.
You can
My time is
go back to what you were talking about, like when I got Stinky Pete and stuff, if you want.
Boy, he
See
thought
you
that was a
guys.
long story.
I'm out of here. I got to run.
These guys
Full
probably
running
never
knowledge.
heard about black diesel and stuff.
I don't know. Uh-oh. Tampa boy left.
And
Yeah,
it's but yeah, all the guys are like a redneck engineer type thing. Like really, I tell the guys all the time, why buy these new trucks that rot out, don't last, when you could buy an old truck like Stinky Pete for cheap and buy the parts you need from junkyards, throw it together. And like right now, that motor has 250,000 miles. Let's just say the motor went bad. I would pull the motor out, rebuild it, rebuild the trans, drop it back in, rebuild the rear differential, front end. Because the truck has no rust on it at all, I could just keep fixing it. I could keep.
This is probably one of the few people that would make David Freiberger jealous. And you don't even know who that is, do you?
Nope, I don't.
Nope.
But I want to go to bed because I want to go to bed. And, like,
You're tired. Okay.
I've been up since 4:30 this morning.
Is that all? Wait. 4:30 in the afternoon?
No, Willie,
Wait,
know I work over
You said
12 hours
4:30 in
a
the morning.
day.
There is no such thing as 4:30 in the morning. Everyone's supposed to be asleep. That's what time Ed gets up in the morning to go to work.
Yeah.
I was up at 3:30 this
I got
morning.
home just a little bit ago.
What was that, Ed?
I was up at 3:30 this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I just drove for 14 hours in a triaxle dump truck hauling stone, so I'm tired. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Willie.
I'm just a mechanic, so.
Yeah. So you could get to go home a little early, not me.
Oh no, it's even funnier than that. Sometimes he's only going in there for a few hours just to punch in the clock and then going home. You should tell him about that.
No, I see a lot of mechanics do that. I don't have a choice on how many hours I can work or when I go in. It's guaranteed 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. So I just put in 56 hours this week. So $20 an hour plus a time and a half should be about $1,000 paycheck or so.
But he's always buying the next vehicle or buying parts to fix his current vehicles.
No, all year this year I've been paying bills.
Yeah, that you had put into buying all the equipment.
Well, all the totes and stuff, that was years ago.
No, I mean, you've had to pay off your tractors and your truck over these years.
Yeah, loans.
Yeah.
Bills. Yeah, loans and bills. Yeah, that's all I've been paying. What at the beginning of this year was $30,000. Now I'm down to about $15,000. I've paid off half of everything in the past 8 months, 8-9 months.
Yep.
So I'm just slowly chipping away at it.
Yep.
But I'll talk to you tomorrow, Willie.
Yep.
Dude, he's a whiz, man.
Yep.
Thank you.
He
I
said
heard
thank
it
you.
before I left.
Yep.
That was a good conversation, man.
Yep.
Go on TikTok and check out my videos. You'll like them.
Yeah, it'd be Anthony Cook 27.
Between my comedy side, making jokes and stuff, and then doing videos on my black diesel and stuff, and you'll get to see Stinky Pete and like all the videos I've done. To kind of like I did some videos like as I was building
We got
the
it.
motor in.
You're good. You've already been over it. You're going around in circles a little bit. You're getting tired. Anyway, it's a long story as to how he wound up with that truck. I saw a Facebook ad for parts engines, and one of the engines in the ad was a Kohler engine. And it turns out he had multiple Kohler engines for sale. It was a rental shop. So they had a bunch of small engine equipment, and at one point they had a mechanic that was doing all the service repair and all the rental equipment. So they had a whole stock of parts that were on walls, a whole bunch of spare engines and equipment, and they also had the graveyard, which the graveyard's a great thing to pick through at a rental company because you never know what you're going to find. Well, I had talked to him, and it turns out that they hadn't had a mechanic working there in 8 years. They had to outsource all their stuff. So all the stuff that was in this building has been untouched, and nobody knows anything about. Okay, so I go through this building, and in this graveyard, I find I got the Kohler engine, and I wound up looking through some of their other stuff. I bought the Kohler engine for $150. 25 horsepower horizontal shaft engine with a flywheel side shaft adapter.
Nice.
But it would not crank over good, and when it ran, it was labored, and once you shut it off hot, it wouldn't start back up again. It had sat for so long, because it had sat for probably 8 years, that the pistons were actually binding up in the cylinders. I dropped it off at the engine shop. He said there was nothing wrong with the engine. It's just the cylinders. The pistons were tight in the cylinder. That was all he could find what was wrong with it. The engine is still sitting out in my shed waiting. I think I'm going to stick my 27 horsepower crankshaft into it that I got from all those graveyard engines. I don't know if you remember that one or not. I showed it in the stream the one day.
Yeah.
I have that 27 horsepower crankshaft that I want to put in that engine. So I went back another day, and my brother went with me because I wanted to pick up what I found was a hydraulic power unit, a Stanley hydraulic power unit that was in the graveyard pile. And I asked him, how much do you want for this thing? He said, give me $100 for it, and you can have it. I said, let me tell you what, if that engine has compression, I'll give you $150. So I pulled that thing out, and it had compression in both cylinders. So I paid him another $150 for that 18 horsepower Vanguard engine, which I am currently running in my Craftsman, which doesn't even have 500 hours of use on it. The Vanguard engine is in perfect running condition. So that was a really good deal. And it actually ran. I just had to blow out the low-speed jet. Didn't have to buy any parts for that engine, and it was good to run. I missed Tampa's comment. It said, thanks for having me. I'll have to say you're welcome. Sorry I missed out on that. But got that engine I picked up that day, and I started going through some more stuff, and my brother was going through stuff at the same time. So my second trip there, I got what I wanted. I was looking through other stuff there, and he said, you know, the guy told me there's stuff in the back room. If you want to go look, you can go look back there. So I go back there, and I find box after box after box after box after box of new old stock Kohler parts. Some of the early stuff that had the ignition on the stator.
Wow.
Stuff that dates back to like the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
It's been back in here being pooped on by mice for probably who knows how many years. And all the boxes, a majority of the boxes are all messed up. I found M18 piston ring sets that are oversized. I found M20 piston ring sets that were oversized. I did not need any of these parts at the time. I wasn't big into YouTube, but I told him I'll give you $20 per bin, and these are big 5 foot wide, 4 foot wide bins. And we just shoved everything inside these bins. And I said, I'll give you $20 a bin. I had 2 bins and a few boxes. I think I paid him like $60 for all the Kohler parts. And amongst all those parts, of all the weird things I wasn't expecting, I found even a Wisconsin recoil starter amongst all those parts. And I said, I'm going to give you $20 just for this recoil starter, because I had an engine that I didn't even have for 2 weeks prior to that needed one. It's like, where are you going to find a Wisconsin recoil starter? Nowhere. It's like, oh my goodness, you have any idea what this is? He said, no. This is a Wisconsin part. It's like, okay. They haven't been around in forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a big win just to get that stuff. And then my brother goes out in the graveyard and he finds 2 trucks out there in the graveyard at that rental place at the same time. They had a half-ton Chevy with a Vortec 6-cylinder, and they had a first-gen Dodge. They only wanted $300 for each truck, so he paid $600 for the 2 vehicles. He took a whole bunch of parts off of the Chevy and scrapped a lot of it. He's actually going to be taking that Chevy in for scrap very soon, what's left of it. He took a lot of the interior parts out of it for his half-ton truck. And then the first-gen Dodge came with a front clip for the $300. It was in a front-end collision, so it was just left sitting for, how many years was it? I can't remember how many years now. I think it might have been sitting around the same time as the mechanic was gone. So it might have been sitting for that 8 years as well with that front-end collision. So he loaded both trucks up. We loaded all the Kohler parts. I loaded the hydraulic power unit, and we came home with an overweight load, to say the least.
Yeah.
And all we did was stick a battery and a starter solenoid into that Dodge, and it ran.
Yeah.
A multi-port fuel-injected 318 Dodge, and I already had exhaust and brake lines put on it. And it smelled like mice, like you wouldn't believe. He had to pull a big, huge mouse nest out of the dash, hence the name, which is for now infamous, Stinky Pete. I came up with that name and has stuck. And it finally stopped stinking after a while, and then he put the diesel in it, so you smell the burning oil whenever it goes by. So the name is still infamous with that truck. It's forever known as Stinky Pete, and he actually put decals on the fenders spelling out Stinky Pete. So it's pretty funny. And he had spent $700 to have the frame straightened out and put the front clip on it and invested like $1,500 in parts. And he ran that truck for, I think, 20,000 miles before he did anything to that truck. So a $1,700 truck he ran for like 4 years and put 20,000 miles on it was a heck of a deal.
Oh, yeah.
And the truck was a rental truck. It was a 2-wheel drive, so it was probably never rented out in the winter. It was probably washed regularly, so there was almost no rust on the truck at all, with the exception of surface rust. We got a Clay Sprinkle. Hey, Clay Sprinkle, thanks for watching or joining. So you can see the galvanizing underneath the paint is still intact on the body, and
Nice.
you can't even get galvanized metal like that anymore. So it's pretty old stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So the 318s started to develop some valve train knocking noise, and he had wrecked one of his trucks in an ice storm that had a 12-valve Cummins in it. So he wound up buying another truck to replace it and swap all the parts over. So he had the extra 12-valve Cummins, and he put money into he found a broker, a junkyard parts broker, that would call junkyard after junkyard after junkyard trying to find a 2-wheel drive first-gen Dodge transmission. It took a week before the guy could find one and shipped it up. And he then invested the time into putting that 12-valve into that truck. And this is a 92 Dodge D150. The gauges in the truck are computer operated. The only major problem he had with that truck was the computer had actually died because the casing was cracked from the collision. So he had to buy another computer for the 318, and he ran that, which was part of that $1,500 he had invested into it. We left that computer in, so all the gauges actually still work with the diesel.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
We didn't have to rewire the whole dash in. He had to pick out the wires he needed. He got a wire diagram and backtraced all the color codes for everything, and we dropped that diesel in. we could hook up the overdrive to a oil pressure switch and the return tranny cooling line. But the problem is we couldn't find specs as to what the pressure was supposed to be for the switch to get it to work right. So he just hooked up a foot switch to the floor, like where your high beams would be.
Yeah.
So he just stepped on the foot switch to kick the overdrive on and off. It works really good.
Well, the nice thing about them first gen Dodges is the half tons, 3/4 tons, and the 1 tons. I think it's 1 ton too. All the suspension's interchangeable on the frames, and you can actually make them 4-wheel drive. If you find a 4-wheel drive front clip, all the holes and everything are all in the frame to bolt the 4-wheel drive right in.
I believe you have to do some fabrication work. The frame is the same, but you have to drill the holes for all the hardware. And he didn't want to go through all that trouble because it costs a lot more money. And he already has another 4-wheel drive truck. Funny thing about that 4-wheel drive truck that he had used to replace his wreck truck is that was a 93, I believe, was the one he had wrecked. And the one he had gotten, I can't remember what the year of the truck is that he has now. But he found a dump body for a Model AA truck, which was a nice short dump body from the 30s, and left him room for a transfer tank behind the cab. So he has a diesel truck that has a transfer tank, 2 toolboxes, and a short dump bed. And he mounted a plow to the front of that, and that's all 4-wheel drive. It's a W350. But the engine on that truck needs an overhaul. It doesn't like to start very easily like it should. And it's got some rust issues. So he's probably going to sell that truck and invest that into another truck. And we're not sure what we're going to do with the dump body because there's no one specifically looking for parts from the 30s.
No. No.
So I don't even know what you would do with that.
Not
he got the bed for, I think, like $600.
Yeah. Not unless you find somebody who wants to rat rod one and wants those body parts and stuff.
Yep. And it has cast iron hardware all the way around it. That's how old it is.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, I'm not sure if you saw this tractor yet. Have you, Ed?
No,
I got running?
No.
I'll have to turn the screen around for you. It's going to take me a second. Oh, that's not it. We'll go into mic and camera settings.
Yeah.
Camera. Turn around. That should be it.
Yep, there you go.
Boy, I think I'm getting better at this. 1 hour and 52 minutes. That's a record for me.
Yeah. Hey, it's all watch time, man.
Yep. I don't know if anyone's going to watch it. Let me get this tripod freed up a little bit. Got 77% battery, so that should be fine. Turn the camera off and get that out, or the light. I'm sorry.
You'll be surprised how many people watch it.
Yep. Not sure how good you're going to see this. I got a bunch of tools in my way. Got this tractor for $150. It did come with a seat, but I had to put a different seat on it because I don't want to get rid of that one. But it has a 14 horse on it. So the engine was worth what I paid for the tractor. I want to swap my 12 horsepower for this 14 horsepower and get this tractor fixed and up and running. I did get it running. I had to drain the gas tank. I had to flush out the fuel pump. I pulled the bowl off and cleaned the junk out, put the bowl back on, and replaced the spark plug, and it runs. I could fire it up right now, no problem.
Now, you know them Simplicity's pretty decent, don't you?
Yeah. It does have a little bit of whining coming from the beveled gearbox in the center of the tractor. I would open up the seat pan if I didn't have all that stuff on it. Because the battery is junk in here, I tried using the box as a jump pack, but I couldn't get enough amp through the jumper cables, so I wired directly to the starter here from that box. Kind of a neat setup I have over here. I have a key switch and I have a bypass switch over here, this being the bypass switch for straight battery voltage coming out of it. Then I have a key switch over here. So I can use this as a jump pack or a engine control pack.
Yeah, I remember your video on that. That's a cool setup.
I could fit 2 batteries in here, and the only reason I went with a lithium battery is because it's light. It makes this easy to carry. I keep all my test equipment in here, so my battery tester, my jump leads, and everything is in there.
Right.
And this battery charger is hooked up to the battery on the tractor, so it would keep the ignition live on it, because I don't think the battery was good enough to keep that alive. No sleeve hitch on it, but all 4 tires are holding air on, which is a plus. That's a big deal.
Yep.
Can't hardly find good tires on used equipment a lot of the time. Let me grab my flashlight.
What's involved in switching those Simplicities from a Briggs engine over to a Kohler?
As far as I know, probably nothing. You might have to set up your crankshaft alignment and change your cables, but the drive shaft should couple up the same. I pulled a Kohler out and stuck a Briggs into a B1, but I think I have enough attachments over here.
That's what I was looking at, because I have an old Simplicity, and the Briggs motor on it's just way worn out. I mean, it would be more to rebuild the thing, especially being as I've got 12 horse Kohlers sitting around here that I can throw together dirt cheap.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things. If you get into Briggs and you have a lot of Briggs parts around, you can usually keep them going, but not everybody is into Briggs and Kohler, and I can't seem to find a good price Kohler myself. But I bought these 2 parts decks and that snowblower and this snowblower for $300.
Wow.
I mainly wanted this snowblower. I have another snowblower that I have in my videos, a yellow one that's identical to this one. I'm gonna sell with this tractor when I get that up and running and get the parts swapped out. But if I do sell the tractor, I'm hoping to put the money into getting rebuild parts for this 14 horsepower, which is obviously gonna need a piston and rings and a rebore, because it is smoking pretty good. It does run. I mean, for $150, I can't complain.
$150 for that motor alone is well worth it.
Yep. Let me see if it'll fire up for me. Yeah, you see what I mean by smoker?
Yeah.
Doesn't knock. The plug that came out was pretty bad also. But doesn't miss a beat. I was kind of surprised that it even ran when I got it, because it was running like crap when I first got it up and running and was backfiring at the intake. The points weren't even moving. I tried to look for the points to move. They weren't moving because they were so tight. It's like, well, that would explain that. Open up the gap and it ran good. And so I think that's all that stopped it, was the points gap was too tight. That and there's a lot of water in the tank. I don't know if I would show you, but I don't think the camera will show up too good. But I probably pulled a couple cups of water out of it. I put a cap on it, but it's getting late here. It's almost 9 o'clock.
Well,
Do you have any other questions at all?
Well, Clay posted in the chat here. He's got an 8-horse Briggs & Stratton flathead. It's leaking oil. What could cause that? I said depends on where it's leaking oil from. Yeah,
if it's leaking on the points side, I know a lot of people replace those points and not put the gaskets in them, and they'll leak out the points plunger pretty bad. That's where I would start, and that's if it's a cast iron 8 horsepower. If it's aluminum 8 horsepower,
Yeah.
It might just need a sump cover, because sometimes those sump covers will get gaskets on them, or gasket leaks. I very rarely ever see a shaft seal leak on aluminum Briggs.
And
So
unless they sit for a long time.
Yeah, even then, I haven't seen it. I doubt it would be a troublesome leak. It might have a little bit of a seepage issue.
He says coming out of the front on his pulling tractor. If it's a horizontal shaft, the sump could be leaking, or the closure plate could be leaking, or that front seal could be leaking.
Yeah, I have an 8 horsepower Briggs over here. I'm not sure if it's the same kind he's talking about. This is an old Model 19 over here. I don't know if that's the kind of engine he's talking about.
Yeah.
this is what I think of when I think of an 8 horsepower Briggs. I don't mess with those aluminum ones too much.
Right.
My luck with the aluminum 8 horsepower engines is they like to eat up rods because nobody changes oil in them. Here's one I have over here, an aluminum one.
Yep.
You think I have enough engines around here?
Looked like me a few years ago.
There's an old Honda over there too. And then we have a Generac. Oh, that thing's a pain in my butt. This thing turned me off of Generacs like you wouldn't believe. This has a control board that tells how much voltage to go to the stator to control the voltage. So when the control board had quit working, so it's producing like 160 volts. I didn't find out until after I fried a heat gun when I was trying to run a load test on it.
Nice.
It's like, wait a minute, it's supposed to be automatic voltage adjusting. It's like, you stupid thing. But yeah, this is a generator I have up for sale. This had lost a rod in the original engine, and this is an engine I had the engine shop put on. We had to do some butchery, but it works. There's no shakes, a new bearing on it, but these are one of the kind of generators I like to say that are, they could sit for years and they still run.
Is that like the Montgomery Ward?
Yep, it's a Montgomery Ward. I had a video up on that.
Yeah, it looks just like the one I.
Yep, I've talked to you about it before.
Yeah. Yeah, Clay.
Block be cracked?
Yeah,
I don't know if an 8 horsepower is capable of cracking a block. There's not really that much horsepower there unless it was dropped.
Well, in a polling situation, you're putting different stresses on them too. You know.
Well, what kind of RPM is he running it at?
Right.
Hey, Clay, what RPM are you running your engine at? Are you governed or ungoverned? Anyway, the neat thing about this engine that I put on here is if I wanted to, I could put a petcock on there and a second fuel line and actually pump from a secondary tank because it actually has a fuel pump on it, just like what the Opposed Twins have, the 3-screw diaphragm fuel pump from the Opposed Twins. That's what this has on it.
Nice.
So I can run an auxiliary tank on that thing if I wanted to.
Nice.
And it's only got diodes in there, so they always work. They always produce power. And I had a friend of mine modify the handle so I can take the handle off so I can fit the 240 plug onto it. Because it was kind of stupid that they put the plug in the way of the handle.
Yeah.
Not sure how good you can. I can't hold the camera in the.
I seen the 240 plug there. Yeah. You see, mine don't have that.
I had to put a link in there so you can get at that.
Yeah, mine don't have that style 240 plug. It just has the.
Oh, he's ungoverned, so that could be any. It might be just pushing out the breather. Then you might have to put your breather into a catch.
Right.
That's probably what his
not
problem
actually
is.
seeing it. It's hard saying where it's coming from.
Well, the breathers on these just have that barb on them, so if your oil comes up to that barb, it's gonna leak unless you put some sort of custom nipple in there or tighten that up with some silicone. Because those little grommets will leak if you don't have them sealed up good. That's where I'd probably start. Yeah, I hope he has a billet rod. Do you have a billet rod in that engine, Clay? Yeah. Anyway, oh, I forgot to show you. Here's the plow I have for that tractor.
That's a nice one.
Bars to bypass the rods. Or, I mean, the bars to bypass the springs.
Yeah.
Gonna sell it like that. I don't care. It's not my problem. I'm not gonna sell junk. I'm gonna make sure everything is working. Well, and Clay, I would not suggest running that engine ungoverned without a billet rod. That's just a bad idea.
Or a billet flywheel.
Or even the wrong flywheel. You might need to talk to ARC Performance. They'll probably have the parts for that engine. ARC Performance tends to have the billet parts for Briggs & Stratton, especially for an 8-horse.
Yeah. Yep. They got a lot of Briggs. Well, they're mostly Briggs, aren't they?
No, they do go-kart stuff. So there's a lot of Briggs & Stratton engines on the go-karts, like the Model 19s.
That's what I'm saying. They do a lot of the Briggs aftermarket parts like that.
Yeah. If you want to get big and bad into Briggs, Carrier Performance would be a place to look for the Vanguard stuff. That's where I got most of my parts from, was from Carrier Performance. Let me turn my camera around. Just trying to figure out where everything's at. Sorry, my finger's in the way.
It's all right. I have a hard time doing it on my cell phone. That's,
Well, I'm not doing too bad. I was hoping I could have some speakers that can actually listen to you better, but that was another fail. I gotta find out what I'm gonna do with that.
do you have Bluetooth headphones?
Yeah, and they don't seem to want to work with when I'm streaming.
Really?
Yeah.
See, mine work.
Let me try it right now. I have them right here.
Oh, see, mine got the big, like, hunky.
Yeah, I don't want those big, huge honking things.
Yeah.
I was hoping these would work. I mean, people were talking about they've used them on videos before, but that's on computers, not cell phones. So I'm kind of out of my element when it comes to that. No, I got them plugged in. Let me put them in. Turn that on. Go in the settings. I said go into settings. Oh, come on.
Uh-oh. We're locked up.
Yeah, it doesn't want to sync up to them. I don't know why.
You might have to sync them up before you start your live stream and stuff. I used to have to do that with my laptop. And in the stream they wouldn't sync. So I'd do it before, I got into the chat, and then it worked. So
I could probably try that if you want to hang around.
well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna get off here. It's 9:00. I've been up since 3:30. So
Yep. Okay. Not a problem.
oh
Yeah, I was getting ready to go earlier until the one guy was asking questions about the 8 horsepower. So yeah, thanks for joining the stream.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for having us.
Not a problem. No, I'm thankful you guys joined.
Well, like I said, I didn't see it until after I was already in Lucky's, and I popped up on my phone that you went live, and I'm like, Lucky was getting ready to end. I'm like, hey, let's all go over to, Willie's having his live stream. Let's all go over there.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem, man.
Yep.
We'll talk to you later.
Yep. Thanks for joining me. Yep. Bye.